No more coffee for you. Have you ever thought about that? What would happen if you couldn't get anything in or out? Have you never contemplated that? It's such an interesting exercise.
Because there is no way we could store the coffee that you and I would need. So I think we wanted to make sure that we kind of wrapped up season 1 of the Rust Experience podcast with a topic that just kind of ties it all together. And maybe if you're like just joining us for the first time, or you've been with us for a little while and you're still trying to figure out who we are and what we're doing and why, we wanted to go into some of the why, I guess, why we are homesteading and like what our goals are for this homestead. If you missed it last week, we announced that we're going to wrap up on episode 20. So this is episode 18. And the next 2 episodes are kind of you get your say. You have your questions. So hit us up in the comments. Some of you already have. We've had some great questions and comments about what you want us to answer. I'm sure there's going to be more than enough to spread across the next 2 episodes. And then we're taking a little summer break, a hiatus from the podcast.
Spring break.
Oh, sorry. Then we're taking. Yeah, that's right. We're taking.
Your face.
I'm
you're
summer.
Like,
I'm already there.
We're coming back in summer.
I'm 6 months ahead. Yeah. We're taking a spring break.
Yep.
To get a whole bunch of projects done. It's the season where everything's growing and you're just kind of up to your neck in it. And then summer, it gets a bit too hot to kind of do that kind of work.
Well, there's half of the day, not half of the day. There's a period of time in the day, especially here where it's like 36, 38 degrees. And we have the privilege of being able to work our day around that. So we might do some podcasting in the middle of the day when it's too hot to do anything else.
Absolutely.
We won't be in the sun here, so.
Yeah. So this episode, I guess I wanted to make sure that we were probably painting a true picture of homesteading. And I feel like we've answered some of those questions. Like our very first episode was, what even is a homestead? You know, is it just a hobby farm? So I feel like we've answered some of that, but maybe a bit more specifically about what we're doing, why we're doing this.
And kind of where we're going with it, or where we want to go with it.
What we set out to achieve. I know for me, it's even changed in the 1.5 years since we got here.
Yep.
Like we came here with this, the idea of starting a homestead and some of those self-sufficiency goals and that they've been with us for a long time. But setting foot on the ground and starting to build, and then in the midst of the world kind of, what the heck, like turning itself on its head. And I don't want to make this an episode about all of that because, there's enough of that on the news and Facebook and X and whatever. But
Facebook, do you still go on Facebook?
No. I'm assuming.
That was a great. I go on Facebook like for work.
Yeah, I mean, I use Facebook Messenger, but I'm assuming because it was already a crap hole that it's just full of more crap. I guess what I mean is once we got here and started establishing some of the things we always had intended to establish in terms of food goals and, living a rural lifestyle and that, some of the motivation probably just shifted slightly for us in terms of responding to what's going on in the world. Like I would say security, sanctuary. I'm not really sure what the right word would be.
Great word.
Sanctuary.
It does feel like that. Like we didn't have a car for 2 months.
Yeah.
Our car's back on the road. Yay. And I'm fine. I'm like, we have to go to town tomorrow, and I'm like, I don't want to.
Oh, you're fine. As in, we basically haven't left the property in 2 months.
No, but we have. Like, we have.
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
You know, we have. We even managed to get into Brisbane for a concert.
Yeah.
And then came straight back out again.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sanctuary is a great word for it.
I guess I always knew that setting up a homestead provides some of that. And definitely for myself, this journey that just started as veggie gardening for me has also been a mental health journey. And so setting up spaces where there's air to breathe, room to stretch, all of that sort of stuff has been, like sanctuary has probably been at the heart of my motivations. But the reasons were probably deeply personal to start with.
You started a homestead. How's your mental health?
Yeah, yeah. It definitely comes with a different set of challenges.
And if you're a homesteader, then like it's one of those, like, if you know, you know.
Yeah. Oh, look, being in a place where I'm my own boss has been a big part of that, and that pursuit of mental health for me. But I guess what I was trying to say was, like, the sanctuary aspect of it was kind of this deeply personal thing, and now it's turned into this, oh, wait a minute, this space, this property, this setup maybe becomes an actual physical sanctuary in
Who knows?
in tough times. And it kind of feels like there's some tough times ahead. I don't know. Maybe, I also just don't trust media and social media and that sort of stuff as much as I probably used to. I'm now becoming quite cynical to all of that.
So maybe that's a good opportunity. Like, we want to talk about, like, and this whole topic is born out of, like, a glass of wine and a beer, standing, watering the veggie garden, going, so, like, are we still happy here? Like, where are we going with this? Like, what's the goals that we've got? Not just like, we would like to build this and we would like to have this, but like the philosophical goals. So maybe I want to pull back a little bit to, what's changed for you since you started doing this?
What's changed for me?
What's changed for you?
I think you probably have these romanticized ideas of what a homestead is, and it's very Pinterest and it's very Instagram and it's, curated. And I tried as much as possible to educate myself and ourselves by getting connected with actual genuine homesteaders. I've been part of the Abundant Permaculture group, Justin Rhodes' group, for a number of years. Since he started it. I don't feel like, for me, this move out here changed much in terms of the amount of people that we interact. I mean, I'm not running a publicly facing business anymore, thank God. but what I mean is, in terms of who I was allowing into my world, to be a voice into my world, I was already on that wavelength of. It started by listening to homesteaders it started by listening to gardeners, Hughes Nursery and Curtis Stone and all these guys that have these great gardening channels on YouTube. And then that's when it probably shifted into homesteading, and I ran into like Cody Wranglerstar and Justin Rhodes and Joel Salatin. I'm like, oh, that's it. And then allowing those voices to kind of shape what I wanted to start pursuing, that probably hasn't changed. And if anything, because guys like that are already living that lifestyle, I think that was what was important to me, was listening to people who are already doing it. I notice our comment section, particularly over on our main channel, I'm picking my words, I notice our comment section is filled with a lot of people who have particular views about what homesteading should be and what you should focus on and how you should do things, and they're not doing it. And I'm like, I feel like they're getting their motivation and inspiration from Pinterest. And it's like, that's great. But when your boots hit the ground out here, and I think I knew that enough to go, I need to listen to people who are living that life already. So in answer to your question, my point of view of what a homestead is and what the reality of this life is, it didn't get shocked. Like, I didn't get in the deep end out here and go, oh, this is not what I expected.
It was better than I expected.
Yeah. And we also...
didn't make it easy.
No. And we were also pretty committed to the community side of things, because that's always been really big to us. And so it instantly, like, high on the agenda was make friends, broaden how we connect with people. Doing this has been part of that. Get to know the neighbors. Like, all of that has been pretty high priority, because we knew that would probably be the big thing that changed for us. We went from running this publicly facing business, interacting with thousands of people a year,
that's why we're quite happy to only interact with a handful of people. Like, there's some lovely people out there, but I think I had too many of them all at once. Do you think, because your comment was about, like, who informs your point of view, so you definitely don't listen to any mainstream media at all?
Well, I occasionally do. So a little
Like you pop
caveat.
your head in and out.
And I educate my kids this way and still do. Be careful of your echo chamber.
Sure.
And the more that you are on social media, the more you are in an echo chamber.
Yeah, because the algorithm just keeps giving you what you want to see and what you
But
believe.
not only that, it's an evil beep beep. Like
Yep.
it's designed to make you think there is no echo chamber. And so the way that it encourages you to stay in its system is to continue dopamine hits of you already believe this, here's more of it.
Yeah.
And we, because we homeschooled our kids, were really intentional about saying, show me the other side, learn to research the other side. So case in point, there was this whole March for Australia thing on the weekend. I'm not going to go into that and what I think about it, but I wasn't surprised by how the mainstream media represented it. No. And the only reason I know how they did was because I actually watched some of it. And now my bloody YouTube feed is full of 9 News.
But like, for me, it was people that I know. Yeah. So like that I have a genuine interpersonal relationship with. I saw their footage.
Yeah.
I saw the stuff on X.
Yeah.
And then I saw the stuff from the media, and I'm like, this is like watching 2 different TV shows. Like sort of watching 2 different things.
And because good journalism would do that, right? Good journalism would take an event or a point of view and go, here's one way to look at it, and here's another way to look at it. You, the audience, you're very smart. Now make up your mind based on all of the information we've presented. But instead it's like, here's the only way to look at a thing.
Or like the complete opposing side of you, that's a whole other TV show as well. Like, it's like, really, you're getting all of this from this?
That's what I mean when I say I've become cynical about the media. What I've witnessed since, I remember doing like in social studies in high school, you know, like early high school, where they would teach you how to read a newspaper. And you know that you would learn things like, you know, journalistic integrity. I remember learning that in school. They must have lost that in the curriculum because it just doesn't exist anymore. So you do get these completely narrow one-sided views, and then you do see it from the other side, and they're making the exact same mistake from the other side.
Totally.
So I actually don't like any of them because neither of them are being honest and presenting what's going on in the world with this full scope of, here you are, audience, you're intelligent enough to be able to make up your own mind. We're just presenting the facts. It's not presenting the facts anymore. It's all editorial.
Yeah, and opinion and agenda. And I work in marketing, so it's like, how can you spin something? You can spin something however you want, really, like a gold-plated turd. You like ask me 10 ways to sell you or to convince you about this being like actual gold, and I could probably do it. I don't want to do it, but so I guess like for us, the clarity of looking a little bit from the outside looking into what's happening in the world, or having a perspective that's a step, taking a step back, and even outside of our own opinions and our own views, that's been a really great exercise for us into going, oh, I see there's stuff going on here that we never thought about before.
So am I hearing you say that it wasn't till we kind of extricated ourselves from living in amongst it that you gained greater perspective of it? Yeah, that's interesting. I think there is
we did that whole period of 2020 to 2021, those 2 years of COVID.
Yeah.
On a rural property.
Yeah.
But I was so connected to it because we were a tourism place. It was like...
Yeah, well, we had all these public-facing responsibilities, and are we going to get in trouble? And
so we were well on our way to going, hang on, what's really going on here?
Yeah.
But taking a further step back...
Yeah.
In a world that has escalated even more since then.
So that's interesting, because I would say be careful about moving further away from the civilized world of suburbia, even though I think that's... Anyway, you know what I think about living in the suburbs. Because you could self-craft an echo chamber. You could end up out here in a rural property where you only
Yeah.
to listen to, completely isolate yourself and only want to listen to what makes you feel good about your own opinions. And
that's a dangerous position to have in the world that we're going into, because the world we're going into is a world that none of us have experienced before.
Yeah.
It's more important than ever to put your critical thinking hats on.
Yeah.
But I guess the privilege that we have is that we can just go, you know what? I'm not doing this not doing this, but I'm not engaging with this anymore. I'm turning it off, and I'm out here in my sanctuary creating the life that I want to live.
Yeah.
I kind of wanted to slip in there as well, like, if your motivation for homesteading is you're afraid of the world and you're wanting to run away, that's not a good place to be in.
People are going to do that anyway. Like, if you're the kind of person that thinks that way and you've already made your mind up or made steps towards disconnecting from allowing better voices in your world, people are going to do that anyway. It's interesting. I hadn't really thought about that word sanctuary, like it sits in tension with that word community as well. I think about these, like, episodes of The Walking Dead where they would come across these different communities of sanctuary, but they were so tribal and like they were about their one thing, their one agenda or whatever it was. And the group that was wandering throughout the country, every time they would interact with these sanctuaries, there'd be these massive tensions because the communities were, had shut themselves off from the outside world. That's a pretty extreme example.
For pure survival.
I'm not saying that the zombies are on the way, but it feels like it sometimes. For pure survival. But I guess that's what you're pointing out, isn't it? That like one of my motivations has been sanctuary, and that's turned into an understanding of security. And I don't just mean security from, there's a foreign nation that's going to invade, although that feels like it might be on the table as well. No, I don't. Like the possibility of it happening, I think, is still low, but I've never thought about it as much as I have in the last few years.
Is that because we're older?
Or is it because the algorithm feeds it to me? Yeah, it might be. But it is this dichotomy of you have to pursue both. Like, what are those freedoms that you always talk about that we're pursuing? So, freedom of just bad thought and kind of corrupted algorithms and all of those things. So freedom to think clearly and to develop an educated opinion, but then at the same time balance that with but you don't want to become that weirdo hermit in the hills.
Gosh, no.
So that went down a rabbit hole.
Yes, that's okay though.
But that is actually only one aspect of what we set out to achieve. Like if we're saying that the point of this conversation was for us to kind of lay it out and go, why homesteading, and really specifically, why are we homesteading? That's just one reason that maybe just got a little magnified in the last couple of years.
For sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
And I think and I hope that we have been maybe a voice of reason in that space. Like there are people that are connecting with us going, the world is not feeling like it did 5-10 years ago. And maybe we do want to consider alternatives. And maybe that lifestyle that you're talking about is one of those.
I reckon people would have been on that journey themselves anyway, though.
Possibly, but there are definitely...
And like attracts like,
We talked about this a few episodes ago, but there are definitely more and more people that are moving away from... Yeah. And some of that is cost of living, and some of that is, what they feel about the political climate and the geopolitical climate.
I read an article the other day talking about people our age, particularly mothers. You're Gen X. I'm an elder millennial, apparently. Does that make me wise? I'm on that cusp of Gen X and millennial. The reason that so many of us are, and you see it everywhere on Instagram and TikTok and YouTube, like women in particular returning to granny hobbies, they call it.
Oh.
And Taylor Swift just made it super popular to make sourdough. The return to that kind of lifestyle is because we're so overstimulated that by the time you get to our age, you're like I think I'm going to go insane.
Yeah.
Because like never before, like life was simpler when we were children, and even when we were teenagers, life was so much simpler.
Yeah.
The evolution of the world in such a short space of time, what are we talking, 25 years? 30 years?
From what? From what to what?
From like the internet really being like in everybody's home.
Yeah, 30 years.
And the speed at which things have changed. Yeah, this article was basically saying there's a generation of women, that was who it was about, who are just so overstimulated. They just want to run away, build a homestead, grow some food and play with their chickens and give their kids a simple life, because it's genuinely damaging to their minds, and they feel like what's the point?
The pace has felt unsustainable. Hey, like when I think about, and I do think what you said earlier was, is it just because we're older? Is it just because we're older adults now? Sure, I think something happens when you go from your 30s to your 40s to your 50s, where you start to see the world differently, and you just you slow down your reaction to it.
I opt out of that.
But I also
opt out
think
of things that no longer serve you.
When I think back to adults that were in my world when I was a child and a teenager, who were the age that I am now, I just feel like, and maybe it was a childhood perspective, they weren't running around like mad, like I felt like we were doing before we got here.
Maybe. We're crazy though. I guess the point that I'm trying to make is, and for you, the word sanctuary resonated for you. For me, it's about curating my own life and getting to the point where having, you don't know anything in your 20s, and I became a mum at 21. So my kids are grown now, did my best there, still a parent, like obviously that's never going away, but at least they're self-sufficient. I can be like, I'm out, see ya, I'm going. It's about me going, what do I want my life to look like?
Yeah.
Who knows how many days I'm promised?
Yeah.
What is that going to look like for me? What do I want? So I do look at the world and I go, we are in for some rough times. Let's prepare. And that urgency hits me real hard at the moment. But I refuse to allow that to drive me.
Yeah.
I don't want fear to be the reason and the motivator that I do anything. I want it to be like that. And I guess that's what I've had to learn how to do in my life. I've had to learn how to reframe things.
Yeah.
I've had to learn how to take disappointment and reframe it into opportunity. I've had to learn how to take challenge and turn it into something that can work for us rather than against us.
Yeah.
I think that we've learned resilience in all of the very many things that we've done in our lives. But in this particular junction in our lives and what's happening in the history of the world, I refuse to be driven by fear.
Yeah.
Even though it wants to creep in.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to miss out on what's ahead. Because who's to say, like, we were born at this time in history. There's nothing we can do about it, and we get one life.
Yeah.
What am I going to do? Like, hide in the corner and spend that life being afraid? Or am I going to go, there's nothing I can do about this. I'm going to go for what is important to me, and I'm going to run really hard into that.
That's a really good point, because I have probably noticed a shift in some of the social media and YouTube channels and that I follow, particularly in this homesteading niche community.
And we do a lot of market research.
Well, we have to, because we do this. But there has definitely been a lean into some of that fear mongering potentially. Yeah, is that sort of what you're saying? Like, it's an easy sell. I guess there might be one, nefarious reason for doing that is because you get more clicks. Yeah. But I also think you do have to be more careful, because this lifestyle, being disconnected in more ways than the normal, or whatever that means, does mean that you can kind of like slip into fads, trends,
I
ways of
think
thinking.
humans are just as easily swayed whether we're disconnected from society or whether we're connected to society.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, it actually doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Unless you have built for yourself a robust internal set of values and process by which you filter information, you will be easily buffeted.
Yeah.
But what we've always wanted to do is, number one, continue to grow, not get stagnant.
Yeah, as people, as persons. Yeah.
And in our 40s, that's even more important, because we've removed this buffer of having little children.
Yeah,
so
yeah.
It's just
it's
like getting cartilage removed from your knee. It's like we're learning a whole other layer of ourselves and each other. But probably more ourselves. I mean, I know for me, this period of life is unfun. And any woman who's in her mid-40s will know exactly what I'm talking about. So we've always been committed to not just get stuck in a place, but to keep growing, exploring our motivations. Why are we the way that we are? Is that who we want to be? But at the same time, we've also wanted to have really robust ways of processing information, so that if, some opinion comes in, one of us will go, what? Why? State your case. Prove this to me. Like, really put it through its paces. If it's going to come into this sacred place, which is my inner world, you better make sure that it is going to fit in there. But I think, like, unless you've done that work, what are your values? What's important to you? Can you articulate them? How do you know what? Like, that's pretty shaky ground if you don't have that strong foundation. And it sounds so cliche. When my parents used to say stuff like this to me, or like, bosses or leaders, I'd be like, oh, I already know. You don't know. You don't know.
I think it's...
But you think you know.
I think it's a really good point to make about homesteading for, people out there who are considering it as a lifestyle or as an answer to what's going on in their world, what's going on in the world. You still have to do the critical thinking work and the evaluation work and set some goals for it. And maybe that's probably what I wanted to bring out in this conversation, is that we didn't dive into this as a reaction to what was going on in the world, because we've been thinking about this lifestyle for 15 years. We bought this property
like 9 years ago.
And so the idea of setting goals for what a homesteading life will produce in us and
for us
and then beyond us, into our children, into the community that we develop. I think that's been so important to go, well, what are those goals? So okay.
I just had this really interesting thought. When you start homesteading, it's like holding a mirror up to yourself.
Totally.
And it will show you
who you are,
who you really are. And that's super confronting. I just needed to say that out loud, because I'm like, that's a little epiphany moment that I just had then.
And I have definitely learned that through starting a YouTube channel, because at first you want to do the Pinterest thing, right? The Instagram thing. And you make these, we started out by making these little reels and things.
Oh, yeah.
I would make these 30-second reels, but it would take me all day to make, because, damn, I got to tidy up that over there, because that's going to be in the background of the shot, and, fix my hair, and, have I got something on my shirt? And now I'm loving the style of video that we're making over on our main channel, because I literally just grab the camera and go for a walk and get started.
So it would take you a day to make a 30-second reel, and now you're pumping out a 15-minute episode in that same editing time.
Because that journey of, this has held a mirror up to me to go, what's important and why do I care? Probably why do I care what other people think has been a big unraveling for me.
That's putting our lives so public.
Because...
And what people say about that. And some people are brutal. But it hasn't been as bad as I thought it was going to be. Maybe I'm opening myself
and
up
I feel like this is where we should probably have an honest moment about one of our goals for this homestead was always to start a YouTube channel. And the motivation and inspiration from that was I just wanted to give back to all of those other channels and books and everything that we consumed over the last 15 years, but also our teaching background, our like public facing background, like our community building nature.
helping people.
Yeah. So we always knew going into this that was going to be one of the goals. And I think it's probably important to say, not that I've really seen this much in the comments, but YouTube and content creation, and we're moving into like course development and community building and some of that aspect that we're going to turn into a business was always the goal. And I think you have to be truthful about what your financial plan is. Because homesteading isn't cheap, and maybe that's one of those romanticized ideas that I'm going to live off the land, and it's like, yeah, great. Where are you going to buy your seeds with your $0? You know,
and we're not. And the honest moment is like we're not rolling in it. We've just had to. We're not rolling in it. I have very complicated and strict budget.
Yeah.
And little by little, we've managed to get ahead.
Yeah.
And make good decisions.
Yep.
But we are not anywhere near, like our budget is $5,000 a month.
Yeah.
That's our budget.
Yeah.
That's what we're doing this on. If you really want to know how much it costs, granted we're not mortgaged.
Yeah.
And we're not paying for any utilities except for gas.
Yeah.
Is that bad to say?
No. I think that's
It's
kind of what I
real.
wanted to say. Like, to be honest about how we're doing it. And some people may go into this with, they've just spent the last 20 years savings and they've got this 100K nest egg that they're going into it with. Or
you've sold your house on the Gold Coast and you've bought for cash somewhere. Good for you. Cash out and get out.
And I would say, just be so careful what you spend your money on, because what I thought 10 years ago that you should spend your money on when you're homesteading versus what I thought 2 years ago when we started making the move to come out here versus what I think now, until your boots are on the ground and you're actually living it and doing it frugally, then you start to go, I would have spent my money
on a tractor and an excavator.
Okay, I'll still spend my money on a tractor and an excavator. I think those are still up at the top of the priority list.
But we didn't have to have them in order to do this.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We spent our money on power and water and shelter and then food.
Yep.
Priorities.
But I think you should go into homesteading with a business model in mind. Sure. Is what I'm saying. Like, that's what I was getting to. Unless you're kind of going into this with this big nest egg or inheritance or, some other way of supporting yourself financially,
is awesome.
Which, like for you work part-time remotely. So that's a part of the equation for us as well. And for us, we're building this business around content and courses and community, and that will over time turn into something that can support us, but it'll take years. We knew that from the outset. For others, it might be genuinely starting a business around the products that come out of their homesteading. Like, we're going to do that. We're getting ready to sell fertilized eggs for specialty breed chickens.
The thing is, I think, have a plan, have a goal for how you're going to make your income and have multiple sources.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think homesteading is different to farming as well.
Yep.
So if you've got, and not being, okay, we've got farming experience, but again, that was tied to a tourism enterprise.
It was more homesteading than it was
That's what I was going to
farming.
say. So I definitely learned farming skills in terms of I am 100% confident that we could get cattle tomorrow and I know exactly what to do with them because I managed cattle for 7 years.
Let's go.
But I know, fences first. But I did that in the context of, a tourism business. And you're right, that was a bit more like homesteading because I wasn't dependent on the money from cattle. And so I was able to branch out into bees and chickens, and you will need a source of income unless you don't. And that's a whole different ballgame. Good for you.
Seriously, you'll probably spend your money unnecessarily.
And then you will need an income.
Restraint is actually such a gift.
Yeah. But if you're enterprising in any kind of way, you will find ways to monetize your homestead. And I think that's a big question that people have, and I don't want to go into too much. Maybe that's a topic for another episode.
Maybe.
If you want, hit us up and we'll give you some ideas. We're doing some of those things, like I was saying about the specialty breed eggs. I've always wanted to do that.
Yeah.
I also think that it's probably a little side hustle business that maybe, Alia might want to take on or whatever, or maybe it just generates this other source of income. But I also want to teach people what's possible, and I don't believe in teaching something that you're not doing or experienced in. I just won't do that.
Yep.
And so we'll do that one because that's a really good case study. Not that I'm going to depend on it for our income. But what I'm saying is that you'll have to think about multiple ways of doing that.
Yep.
Because you don't run it like a farm where you're, we do this crop and then we do this crop. We're cereal grain farmers. That's what we do. Or we do cattle. That's what we do with maybe some sheep on the side.
Yeah, homesteaders are crazy. A little
Tend
bit of
to
this,
be, yeah.
a little bit of that, a little bit of this.
But I guess what I'm saying is I want to be one level honesty above that to kind of break the fourth wall here with all these cameras to say our enterprising aspect on homesteading is to dabble in all those things like homesteaders would, but for the benefit of this audience to
No, for the benefit of ourselves and then for the benefit of the audience.
Oh, no, sorry, don't get me wrong. I'm not saying we wouldn't garden anyway. We would. Or we wouldn't raise cattle anyway. We would. But I'm saying from the business aspect of those things, I'm less inclined to put the pressure on those things to financially support us.
Sure.
Because the truth about you and I and our homestead is there's this.
Yeah.
There's a content business. There's,
and
a background in education
and we want
that will
to be as honest as possible.
Yeah. So I will never paint the picture of homesteading without acknowledging the truth of, not that it's happening right now, because you're right, YouTube doesn't pay a heck of a lot right now, but at some point it will, and that's the plan.
Or it won't just be YouTube.
Fingers crossed.
It will be a bunch of things.
And don't get me wrong, that might actually be a method that other people can use.
Sure.
I'm not saying we've got the monopoly on that idea.
Do it.
And we've approached it really specifically too from an education perspective to go, there's definitely an opportunity here for us to live the life we want to live, number one, record it, and then reteach it.
Yeah.
That's an educational avenue that you could take. You could take the entertainment avenue. You could just pull the camera up.
Who's the chick that you just found on YouTube?
Tara. She's a sheep farmer in Victoria.
So good.
And she is freaking hilarious.
So
I'm like addicted to all her videos. She's amazing. And I love her too because she roasts the comment section and she like...
We want you to do it, Regan.
If you are even in any way mildly offended by vulgarity in language...
Do not watch it.
Don't watch Tara Farms.
So funny.
But I was watching her the other day and Alia comes in and goes, oh, she's awesome. I follow her on TikTok. So good on her.
Yes.
Like she's found a way to turn, and they've got a full enterprise sheep farm. I mean, they are doing sheep farming for real, making money farming sheep, but she's also managed to, craft a business out of entertainment.
Yeah.
That's definitely, if you've got a bent that way, if you, feel like you'd like to have a go at that, it's an absolute
You're probably
possibility.
already that funny. You don't feel like you're that funny, do you?
Me?
Yeah.
Well, but I don't like the stuff that happens on a homestead anyway. Like you get the laughs anyway. I definitely didn't approach it from the entertainment point of view.
But that's not who you are.
But it is, the lifestyle itself is entertaining anyway, and the stuff that happens that's unexpected. And like your friggin' roosters, they've all decided that they've all become fully mature male roosters, and every single one of these hens is now their prize. Oof. And so. Apologies for the noises in the background, but that's what's going on there.
That's what happens in springtime on a farm.
yeah, that's not the sound of hens laying eggs. Crazy. That's the sound of hens saying, no more.
Like, got to be careful what you say.
Yeah.
Okay. For me, the sufficiency, the self-sufficiency, the food security, the ability to be honest about, like we lived on a homestead before, let's say, right? But it wasn't honest. I was working 60 hours a week and like getting Thai food from the place.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? Like And I always was really wrestling, like, this is what I want. Like, I want to grow my own food. I want to make my own food. I want, like, I might get sick of it and not want to do it. In 10 years' time, I might want to be like, and I'm out. Like, I'm retiring and going to live on a cruise ship. I doubt it, but, you know, no, thank you. But I wanted the truth and the honesty of it.
Yeah.
And being congruent is a very important thing to me. So what I say, what I do, what I think, what I believe, there has to be alignment there. So for me, I want that food security. It burns in me, especially now, which is why every spare minute at the moment is in that garden, expanding, improving, making sure that we're growing, because I'm about to come into the abundant time of year where I can put food away for my family for the winter next year. The pigs are getting ready to give piglets. Like, what are we going to do to be able to make that happen? That's going to be a crap ton of work, processing those things. How do we move forward to be able to eat our own chickens? Like, all of that is such a huge driver for me. I didn't come here to retire. I do enjoy having a slower pace of life and no commute. There's so much time in the day to do all of the things that I want to do. And when it's time to work hard, I love going to bed tired, body tired at the end of the day, because I spent so many years going to bed brain dead because I didn't move my body, but my brain was like on. And so I felt like, you know, I was sitting in the couch trying to be a good mum with like some drool hanging out my mouth because my mind was so overstimulated. But for me, the goal of all of this is like that providing of security in that way.
Your food security,
for my family.
The self-sufficiency thing is such an interesting one, isn't it? And I like that you brought that up in terms of telling the truth about it, because I do feel like, again, it gets really romanticized, and there's these Instagram versions of it that are like, Joel Salatin has this. He's harsh. He said once in an interview, he had a guy rock up to an interview to come and work on their property. And there was Macca's wrappers in the car, and he said, "Sorry, no,
can't do it.
You can't work here." It was like,
"Sorry, Alia, you can't live here." Do a sneaky cheese on the way home from work.
Oh, look, I'm inclined to a sneaky cheese every now and then as well. It's terrible.
And then it makes you feel so sick afterwards.
There's almost instant regret. But that always stood out to me. And then Joel was on Joe Rogan a few years ago now, and I remember Joe saying to him, but is it true? Like, all of these things that you're talking to me about, can they scale? Can you feed, this particular city out of what you're doing? And I really felt like Joel kind of got a little bit stumped by that. Now, not to say that he's not pursuing some of that in truthful and honest ways, because I've read all of his books and I consume all of his stuff. And what they're doing at Polyface Farms is a true version of homesteading and the pursuit of self-sufficiency. I felt like the question on that interview tripped him up a little bit. And I always felt bad that, I know this guy. Like, I've been reading him for years, and now Joe maybe has this, version of homesteaders that's like, but they don't really, like,
I wonder what it would be like to hear a conversation now.
Well, not long after that, he had another guy that I had never heard before, and now I've got his books, and his name's Will Harris, and his farm's called White Oak Pastures, and you should definitely watch at least that interview. He's been on Joe Rogan twice now, and his book is amazing. And Joe asked him the question. I felt like he finally got to an answer there where he was able to say, yes, there is some truth. Now, that was more around regenerative agriculture, right? Which was, not to go too deep into it, but it's a method of farming that doesn't rely on industrial inputs and the pillaging of the earth. But the true question there is, yes, but can it provide food for an 8 billion population of the world?
Well, one farm can't.
No, but Will was very good at
What
explaining
did he
the
say?
scalability of all the. I won't do it justice, so definitely I'll
You'll
link
link?
to
Okay, cool.
the conversation. But it is fully scalable, and it was probably the first time I'd heard that critiqued in a really good way, because that's what Joe wanted to know. What he wanted to know from Joel Salatin was, yeah, this is, great if you get to do it, but will it actually feed the world? And Will, was able to answer that question. And to me, that resonated with exactly what you're saying. The homesteading gig can feel fake like that sometimes. Like the self-sufficiency pursuit is like, yeah, whatever, but you still buy your white sugar for your homebrew beer in a Coles packet
But
like
that's
everyone
just
else
because
does.
we can,
Yeah.
right? Rubber hits the road. You've got vegetables. You've got protein. Guess that's what you're eating.
Yeah, true.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, your taste will change quite quickly when there's no other option.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Pretty quick, smart, and in a hurry.
And I've said a few times on this channel, on our main channel, we're not preppers, and I've been challenged in the comment section about that.
Somebody said the other day, just call it, you are preppers.
There is an overlap, and I get that there is an overlap, but I'm not doing this because I have this 100% core belief that the world's going to turn to crap and I'm going to lock the front gates and I'll still be able to live my life. That's not my why. That's not my motivation for doing this. However, the overlap provides me the opportunity that should it happen, I'll probably be okay. I will definitely have to change my eating and drinking habits.
No more chocolate for you. No more coffee for you. Have you ever thought about that? What would happen if you couldn't get anything in or out? Have you never contemplated that? It's such an interesting exercise.
Because there is no way we could store the coffee that you and I would need.
That's why when you made me a bad coffee, I'm like, nope, I don't have time for bad coffee. Don't have time for bad wine.
And I calculated it once. It's 1 kilo of coffee per tree per year.
And we consume a kilo of coffee every fortnight.
So just for the two of us, we need this little orchard of like 26 coffee trees, which don't really grow out here.
We had one. It did
my
die.
poor coffee tree.
It was sad. That was one of the first trees that we bought. It died.
And succumbed to frost.
It did not, because it's tropical. It doesn't belong out
I probably
here.
could have forced it to adapt, but
we once harvested, I think it was like a handful of berries, and we roasted them I think it was in a lockdown, and we made coffee from it, and we were like, this is so pov.
Yeah, but if I was desperate,
you'd be,
no, I'd just wean off.
you'd have a headache for 3 days, and then you'd be fine.
I guess.
Have you never contemplated what it would be like to not get anything in or out? This is how I think now.
No, I have, because I do occasionally look at what we're setting up and ask that question, how long would it last if the truck stopped rolling? Which has happened. And we've had other conversations about that, but we live on this razor-edged society of this 24-hour system that restocks all the shelves. And when that system breaks, people panic buy toilet paper. But
just go on a subscription from Who Gives a Crap. Every 12 weeks, I get a new box. Even if I don't need it, I need to make that a little bit longer, actually, because
they kept supplying, didn't they, when there was all those... Maybe we shouldn't be saying that.
I've got 2 boxes. I'm like, we don't use as much. And because there's, like, the kids are at work every day and there's one child that's not here, I'm still operating as a mum of, with 5
So you've literally stockpiled toilet paper.
Accidentally. But I'm like...
Yeah.
Please still get to... Yep. Because I'm like, what happens if you can't get to
use a leaf? A leaf.
Everybody's going to go buy a bidet. No, but you need power for that. Oh, no.
Gravity and a water tank.
Everybody has a shower afterwards.
How do we get there? Truth-telling about self-sufficiency. Yeah, there is definitely a pursuit of self-sufficiency that I think some homesteaders go on, and they maybe do romanticize it a bit. And I don't want to rabbit on because we've talked about this before.
I don't think it's romanticizing it. I think you can get there. I think it takes time and it takes a crap ton of hard work. Like, it's really hard work. Fulfilling, rewarding. Like, we're going into the hard work point of the year.
Yeah, no, but I also want to be careful to tell the truth. Like, we generate all our own electricity, but that's not entirely true. Because if we get a run of cloudy days, I have to put the generator on, and it's a petrol-powered generator. Now, I could improve that by getting additional battery storage, and we've been able to add a little bit of extra battery storage in recently, and that has helped. But if the world turned to crap, thinking that prepper avenue, and we had this system and half the batteries died, I can't make a lithium iron phosphate battery.
That's when
Yeah, that's right. We return to caveman days.
it's fine.
But I guess I just want to say that I want to always tell the honest truth about, yes, we generate our own electricity, but that's because we were able to, because of the society we live in, purchase an off-grid solar power system that included lithium iron phosphate batteries and a generator that runs on petrol when it lets us down, which it does occasionally. So I always just want to tell the truth about self-sufficiency, that I'm not living completely disconnected from society.
I think humans are an incredibly adaptive bunch. And if you want to survive, you'll figure out how.
Really? I don't think so.
I think I am an incredibly adaptive human, and I will be able to figure it out.
I think there's a generation. Oh, look, I'm going to be an old man, but I think
the initial wave of like everybody killing each other stops.
Oh, it's not even going to be that. Like, people are just going to cower in the corner because their TikTok feed stopped when the internet goes down. Do you know what I mean?
Do you remember when the American one got switched off and it was really funny?
Oh, watching them all panic. And okay, to be fair,
that was eerie.
Here in Australia, we can't, or couldn't at the time, I don't know if we can, monetize TikTok. And in the States,
people were genuinely
there were content creators for whom that was a large part of their business.
For me, I want to move from the 3 months of food that I have.
Yeah.
And some of it got depleted because we didn't have a car, like I tapped in.
Yeah.
So
you could.
I said to Mum, but I could. I said to Mum, as soon as the ute is back on the road, we're going to Campbell's.
Yeah.
And we're both going to do, like, none of you all are coming with us. It's just me and Mum. And we're going to do a big stock up of
bulk stuff. Yeah.
And if people want to know what it is I'm going to be stockpiling, I'm happy to share that, because I've whittled it down to a really, like, core things that I can't do for myself.
Yep. Or don't want to have to either. And that's part of the truth-telling of it as well, right? Like, yes, we have these ideas.
Sorry, babe, I'm stockpiling wine.
Yeah, that's fair enough. We have some ideas of, like, growing our own wheat and having to go out milling it. And part of that has come from, I just don't trust wheat. Like, I don't trust modern wheat. And so we've got a hold of some of those ancient grains. We're going to try and grow
give that a crack. Yep.
But that won't be for everyone. And you can't. You would have to have a small village to be able to do all of those aspects of it.
Sounds wonderful.
It does sound kind of wonderful.
Yeah.
Are we back to the idea of running a hippie commune? No, because hippie communes, nobody does anything. Okay, so I think the point of this conversation for me has been to lay out on the table what our goals and motivations for homesteading are, just to throw it out there in the mix, because there will be others that have other goals and motivations. Like, so for us, it has been that idea of security or sanctuary, a pursuit of self-sufficiency, like truthful self-sufficiency, financial freedom, and being able to actually start a business that is based on our homesteading lifestyle. So for us, that's content and courses. For others, it might be that they're producing honey and eggs and, whatever it might be. Yeah, I think those have been it's just occurred to me. It's like, we're kind of achieving the goals already.
I think that's what I've loved about doing this podcast.
Yeah.
Is it's causing us to reflect. We're pretty reflective people, but it's causing us to reflect in a kind of structured way.
Yeah.
And I feel like this podcast has actually taught me so much and clarified so much for me in the making of it.
Yeah.
That that when we are doing it, we're not where we want to be, but we're doing it. We're
So-
creating and curating a life for ourselves that is based purely on what's important to us,
Yeah. Where our values.
where our
Yeah.
values are.
So what would you say then, just looking ahead to the future, and, you know, we've got a busy season ahead of us, you know, we're going to ramp up productivity and all of that.
Yeah, once we're finished here, I've got more to do in the garden.
But even looking ahead to the next few years in that, you say we're not there yet. I feel like, in part, we're ticking the box on a lot
we're
of
on
those
our
goals.
way, for sure.
What would you say some of our bigger picture goals are then as homesteaders?
Definitely, this is the year of the preserves and the food stockpile based on like our home.
Is that a goal of how much you want to stockpile, or is it a self-education goal of what you
Both.
want to learn?
Both.
Yeah.
Yep. I want by this time next year to not be buying any kind of like sauces or anything like that.
And
I don't want to be buying fresh fruits or vegetables.
Yep.
I want to be eating from as much as possible from our little ecosystem here.
Yeah, great.
That includes our own meat.
Yep.
That's going to be a huge learning curve next year.
Yep.
When it comes time to get down and dirty and, you know, process some pigs and process some chickens, and then next year to actually have cattle that we can then be moving into milk and dairy and beef.
Yeah.
That I see that timeline happening. The things that I need to do to prepare myself, like I feel like I've got my hands full in just that little section of it all. You know, I'm starting to make my own butter and to make my own yogurt and to make my own cottage cheese and things like that now from the milk that I'm buying from the store, because that practice has to become part of my everyday life.
Yeah.
Because I know what it means to get overrun with milk.
Yeah.
When we were milking the cow.
That's right. Yeah.
3 liters a day turns into 25 liters of what do I do with this if you're not on top of it.
Oh, look, make no mistake. I know how to turn milk into pork. Because there's a feed regime that we developed around fermented pig feed that I am looking forward to re-implementing once we're in milk surplus.
And not that we drink a lot of milk. Like, honestly, it's like this much a day in our coffees. But I'm very, very, very interested in the cheese making and the yogurt and the...
Yeah.
What else do we use? Oh, butter. Oh, butter. Can you imagine not having butter? Oh, that would be like a tragedy against the world, says the Scottish person.
It cooks everything in it.
Butter and tallow. Ghee and tallow.
Yeah, cool. So preserving, stockpiling,
that food,
canning.
And building myself a cellar.
Building yourself.
Building ourselves
there
a
is
cellar.
There is an upcoming project that will be videoed.
Somewhere that we can put it all.
Yeah.
More than anything, that's what's most important to me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, cool.
What about you?
My homesteading goals are pretty closely aligned with yours. So definitely around the self-sufficiency, and probably food is probably central to that. But it has turned for me into this putting it out there goal.
Teaching people.
Yeah, like that.
Helping people.
I have always worked in some aspect of teaching. And so, turning what I'm doing into, and it probably is some of that pay it forward mentality of, there were all of these voices that invested into me, whether or not they knew they were or not, that allowed me to take the steps with confidence and to have a go at things. I feel a responsibility, like a sense of community responsibility to then go, well, this is who I am. This is what I'm good at doing. So I am going to turn it around. And then if that's the way that we're able to also fund what we're doing to do it more, then I'll do that as well. So it's not from this, like hippie guru mindset of, it is really like, I do want to develop because I know what some of those quality resources did for me, and I know what it takes to produce some of those quality resources.
You got your work cut out for you, baby.
There's books I want to write, there's courses I want to teach, and there's community groups that I want to develop so that we can take what we've done and share it with the world. That would probably be, it's probably top of my list.
I'll feed you.
Yep.
And you can make me alcohol, make me ginger beer, make me beer.
Yeah.
Grab me some wine.
And figure out how we're going to solve this coffee problem.
Have you really never thought about that before?
Not to this extent, but now it's going to be like, the chocolate I can, You're
going through a grief process.
So guys, that's going to do it for this week. We have got 2 more episodes and they're up to you. So hit us up with your comments. What do you want us to talk about? What questions haven't we answered? And I'll say it again because I'm saying it on every video. We've started an email list and that's going somewhere. So if you want to be part of that community as it develops, link here, link down there, click it however you click it, and we'll see you on the next one.